Senator Feinstein and I were just discussing that this is kind of a first. And we more or less like this with a woman chairing and a ranking member who is female.
Never happened before.
Yeah.
That two women in the history of the United States were chairing and ranking at the Judiciary Committee, which
That is right. So it's a history-making day. And I will add to that, it is so inspiring to see such a talented group of lawyers being nominated to the federal bench, because America needs more judges who respect the rule of law. We're fortunate to have a Constitution that protects our rights from massive government overreach. And make no mistake, Americans' rights and freedoms will be in serious jeopardy if judges do not value the Constitution's protections for due process. For the past month and a half, those of us in the Senate have watched as the House unleashed an impeachment inquiry absolutely hostile to due process and transparency. Today, as public hearings finally began, it is still an open question whether this process will be done fairly and in a bipartisan manner. While impeachment is a legislative inquiry and not a judicial one, there are many important issues that still come before the courts, issues that shape our construct of executive power and the separation of powers. In such testing times for our country, it is ever so important that judges stay above the political fray and simply say what the law is and not what the law should be. Today, the committee will be hearing from the first of two nominees to the federal district courts in California, Mark Scarsi and Stanley Blumenfeld. I know that the administration has worked closely with Senator Feinstein and Harris for months to announce 13 nominees to the district courts in California, and I'm hopeful that this will be the first of several hearings for California nominees. We have two other nominees today, Stephen Vaden of Tennessee for the Court of International Trade and Judge Grace Oberman for the Court of Federal Claims, and I'll introduce each of them before turning to the ranking member. And I am indeed pleased to introduce Stephen Vaden. He is my fellow Tennessean. He is President Trump's nominee for the Court of International Trade. Since 2017, he has served as a general counsel for the United States Department of Agriculture. He is a native of Union City and a lifelong Tennessean. In fact, so were his parents. He received his BA from Vanderbilt University. You are correct. They are not that good at football, but they're good at baseball, and they surely are smart, right? And he graduated there summa cum laude and his JD from Yale Law School. After graduating from law school, Stephen returned home to Tennessee. He clerked for two different judges in Memphis. First for Sixth Circuit Judge Julia Smith Gibbons, and then District Judge Samuel Mays. He then worked in private practice at two major D.C. law firms, Patton Boggs and Jones Day. In 2018, President Trump nominated, and the Senate confirmed, Stephen to be general counsel at the Department of Agriculture. It was a wise nomination. Stephen's Tennessee farming roots run deep, and he learned the importance of hard work from his parents. Stephen's father was a farmer as well as a grocer and a real estate investor. His mother drove a taxi and a bus for her dad's livery company. While they have since passed, I know that they would be very proud of their son and his accomplishments. Their family owns two farms that Stephen and his brother manage, one in Oberman County, Tennessee, and in Fulton County, Kentucky. The Fulton County farm has been in Stephen's family even before Fulton County was organized in the 1830s. Stephen will make a terrific judge as the first Tennessean on the International Trade Court. In my conversations with him, it is clear that he has both the ability and the judgment to serve on the court. His personal and professional experiences have taught him how to work hard, how to be fair, and how to follow the law. He has already made Tennessee proud, and we admire his roots at home and in the agricultural sector, as well as his public service in our nation's capital. And I hope we're going to move him through the committee expeditiously and confirm him promptly. Congratulations. I am pleased to introduce to the committee our next nominee, Judge Grace Oberman. She is President Trump's nominee for the U.S. Court of Federal Claims. She is currently an administrative patent judge of the Patent Trial and Appeal Board. Grace grew up in Sayreville, New Jersey, as the daughter of George and Magnolia Carafa. While our parents are not with us today, I know that they would also be very pleased with her and her accomplishments and the glass ceilings that she has crushed through. She received her BA from Rutgers and her JD from GW, graduating with honors and serving on the law review. After law school, she clerked for Judge Raymond Clevenger III on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. During her long legal career, she has specialized in intellectual property litigation and gained extensive experience in public service as a litigator and as a patent law judge. She also taught and mentored students as an adjunct professor of legal writing and oral advocacy at her alma mater, GW's Law School. Early on in her career, she was a trial attorney in the Justice Department's Civil Division. She eventually worked her way up to become an assistant director of the Commercial Litigation Branch. This branch includes the component of trial attorneys that handle IP infringement litigation involving the U.S. as a party. Over the 12 years that she was at DOJ, Grace was lead counsel in numerous patent, trademark, and copyright infringement lawsuits. She argued frequently before the U.S. Court of Federal Claims, and she also argued several significant appeals before the Federal Circuit. In 2012, she was appointed to serve in her current position as an administrative patent judge, where she has been paneled on over 300 trial cases and over 400 patent appeals. She is joined today by her husband, Richard, her daughter, Pearl, and her son, John, and we are absolutely delighted to have you all with us. Welcome.